Whoever coughs first loses.
Oh,
No,
man.
I ain't coughing. I got iron lungs. I ain't coughing over here. Neither of us lose.
Yeah, leather lungs. That's what almost would be the episode name. Oh,
Literally,
man.
nobody loses here.
No, but for real, welcome back, everyone. We got ourselves a special little Scooby spooky coaster here.
You got some Scooby snacks for me, dog?
I wish. Which, by the way, you had those as a kid, right? Those fucking gummy Scooby snacks.
Oh, dude, the blue ones, right? Are we thinking Are we thinking the same thing?
The blue ones were actually insane.
I can still taste it when I think about it, bro. To this day.
Yeah, like I think they still sell them. Actually, I almost want to say
They're different now, though. They're not the same.
Oh, what?
I got some, and they don't have that like Curion blue looking one. That sky blue. It's not in there anymore.
Are you okay? So they just they deserve all the L's they taken for shooting themselves in the foot there, cause.
Whoa, am I seeing your stream?
Yes, I'm putting it up for you. Because
sorry, man, that's crazy.
Because we have a special something here.
Power in the word.
We have a special someone who loves Boblo, who loves the classic rides and the stories being built in the industry. Someone who's been following and putting up great content. Honestly, ever since I've found him, it's been like one of my go-to for vlogs and or just the documentary style videos. We got Scoobycoasters on here. And in general, the GhosterCoasters channel, because shout-outs to Stacy as well, because that's the second half. But welcome on,
better
Scooby.
half. The better half is Stacy, just so everybody knows. She's the inspiration and what makes it work. But hey, man, how you doing? I'm glad to be here. That was a heck of an introduction, man.
Man, I gotta have the introductions. And now we got the Scooby-Doo theme song in the back.
It's too perfect. Scoobycoasters, Scooby Boblo, it's all coming together.
No, I swear
This
if
is
Hannah...
gonna be the most classic episode ever.
I swear if Hanna-Barbera copyright claims this, I'm gonna be kind of mad, but...
I'll square up with Hannah and Barbara.
Man, like, who even owns the Hanna-Barbera stuff now? Is it just Cartoon
Does
Network?
Hannah and Barbara, can they smoke? They don't want no smoke. Come on.
Say. I mean, I feel like they had to for making...
For making these, dude, some of the jokes in these commercials. My favorite ones when Scooby's in the trash can. I know this is going to sound crazy, but he's in the trash can and he picks up the trash can lids and he flies away. And I'm just like, yeah, they were high as shit writing this. There's no way you just think of that.
I mean, I just say... What? It was the 60s, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, the Beatles... do y'all think the Beatles were really straight edge? There's no way. Oh, and there's an album... From rural Beatles fans, you'll know when you probably realize that the drugs were kicking.
Oh.
The evolution of the Beatles, you should say. I need to get Timmy back on so we can actually talk about that. But yes, we're talking about type of history here. We're talking about amusement park history where, man, Scoob, you, honestly, you're the big reason why I be even knowing about a lot of these smaller fairs, these hidden trolley parks, these pier parks, these islands.
Over here in Michigan, man, that's a weird little set of parks. I can't wait to dive into more. I wanted to do Michigan first so I could learn how to do those videos so I could talk about the parks everybody else knows later.
Man, I'm just saying as a big part of where I learned a lot of this stuff is from the YouTube, the sphere of given to us from the Googleverse or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Bright Sun Films, like the Funkland, they have been super big in me, like just learning about the history. And now for me, honestly, I'm gonna just throw it out there, you felt like the third addition to that. Almost, there was Mount Rushmore of just documentary and amusement. Because, like, I'm telling y'all, that Top Thrill Dragster to Top Thrill 2, go ahead and check that out right now on GhosterCoasters. Even though, hey, Top Thrill 2 is tore meniscus and is out for the season, it seems like.
Should I give an announcement right now, then?
Go ahead.
We already have part 2 40 minutes done, and we're about to finish the last, 15 minutes up, and then when we get the final announcement of that, we'll wrap it up, and we'll have it ready for whenever it reopens or closes indefinitely or whatever happens for that. But we have it all set, and it's better.
You don't understand. I'm just sitting here with my mouth agape, just with excitement.
That this one's fun. I've been quiet about it because obviously we're doing all the Boblo stuff, but yeah, we've got that documented basically to every specific event, so it was up to date. So we were kind of writing as it would go and then recording, so it's not outdated or anything, and we didn't forget key details. So it's like everything, same thing as the last one. When Adina showed up, why we think they're there, all that stuff in there.
Man, and
Testing services.
I mean, if you haven't been on the Twitter side and potentially the YouTube side, you probably have already seen GhosterCoasters covering, doing the updates, helping us keep up to date whether or not, honestly, giving a timeline of everything. And I truly think looking back at this, like, in 5 years is going to be so cool. Because there's never been such an in-depth, like, literally every event. And like we were saying before the original documentary came out, it was cool seeing us essentially, and everyone being just so wrong and are making these theories and saying what ifs. And I just think looking back is very cool. And
it's a cool part of history there too. Like people don't think about it, but I mean, yeah, it's only got 11,000 views or whatever. Like it's not a piece of history, but it is for Cedar Point's lore at that time because everyone who was going and people who are a part of it and the launch and went opening days or been there during that year, like everybody was kind of a part of that, and it's all documented now too. All the people that I was around, at least, they'll be able to go back in 20 years, like. Who's the guy I'm thinking of? There's a dude on YouTube who's got all the old dragster footage from like their media day, and I went back and saw a lot of his footage because he had Sean Flaherty or whatever that guy.
He's
Sean Flaherty,
the man.
Yeah. That guy has a treasure trove of stuff, and that's kind of what inspired me to want to do documentary stuff because his was more like just pieces of history documented through the day and not like voiced over, just what the day happened and more vlog style. And I was like, dude, you can really like tell a story if you have that stuff documented. So that's kind of like that's what I want to do with Cedar Point's next coaster too. When we start getting signs that something's coming, I want to document it from start to fucking opening. So like those are the fun things that I want to do because it's fun to document stuff and have a timeline. It's hard to piece it together unless you're actively there. That's what I learned with Top Thrill Dragster. Like it's hard to, like the wheel flying off rumor in 2004 or whatever. It's verified in the form of people talking about it on many discussion boards and stuff, but the picture's gone. There was a picture, but the picture's gone. So it's like things like that are hard to document unless you're there at the time, and it's fun to try to find that stuff. Honestly, trying to find it with Alex was one of the more thrilling couple of weeks there because every time we got a message, we were like, did we get it? Did we get it? No, no. And, it wound up turning out to be a dead end anyways, but it's still one of those things that if it wasn't on some guy's page from, a blog page from 2006 or whatever, then we wouldn't have seen that.
Yeah, I'm like, because me and RC essentially do that in the most... we'll just say like internet detective way, in the sense of like all the stuff for random things like King's Dominions, like volcano replacement or things coming to there, or like other big things like Drachenfire. It would like did B&M actually have involvement and all that, and comes out for they really didn't even talk to B&M about that at the time. But just stuff like that where it's like you really will only find people like in the discussion boards saying it, and then. If then, like, were they even there? Did they hear that from someone there? Or was it like... Yeah. Those kind of deep dives
can be... It's fun being a sleuth, man, isn't it? It's fun trying to track something down and emailing 50 people to... I mean, even if you get no's, it's still fun because you're like... The thrill is still there when you get the response regardless.
Yeah, because who knows where you might end up getting someone else just from that dead end.
That's what's happened a lot with me recently too, and the other ventures. Like every time I hit a dead end, they're like, "But try this person," and it's like, "Okay, well, don't tell me to try somebody and then expect me not to. I'm going to."
Oh, yeah, I'm just like the most we've gotten is like essentially getting talks from people who are extremely like been pass holder for maybe like 30 years or something, and talking to them about like history, just a messenger chat about King's Dominion history and just things that happened and like confirming things, and I'm just like, wow.
Isn't it crazy when you think something but you can't prove it because you weren't there 30 years ago, right? And then
Man,
You talk to someone who was, and they tell you kind of what you thought.
almost like it was like a clear cut picture they're telling you sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
It's
holy
kind of
shit.
nice when you get that.
Because, I mean, this is kind of morbid, but it's like the one
Mhm.
with the Eiffel Tower incident at King's Dominion. I didn't even know that was a thing until like 2 years ago. And then I was like talking with him in that messenger chat. And that's the reason why that patch in between the asphalt at King's Dominion even exists, is because of that incident. It's like, holy shit.
What incident?
So there was someone, unfortunately, who was not doing well mentally, and they didn't have the gates around in the Eiffel Tower. It was just open air straight up, like the bars. Like either it's basically you can only put your phone through and maybe your arm.
Yeah.
That wasn't there. So
Right.
he just said, feeling how he was feeling, went up to the Eiffel Tower and jumped.
Well, rest in peace to that man. I'm sorry he did that, but holy shit.
Yes. Yeah, and then
That
that
is.
there is a
Yeah.
pad in the asphalt that I've always wondered. People wonder if they don't know why the hell is it there. If you go to Kingsman, you see it every time you pass by the Eiffel Tower. Like a small pad, like right behind it, like before you go towards like the shaded area towards the clock tower, the topiary clock tower. But I've always wondered that. And I'm just like, I was looking around the Facebooks and I saw that theory. I'm like, okay, let me get some fact check on this. And then lo and behold, after a few days of trying to find it, that was actually very true. And there's news articles about it too.
Yeah, that's yeah. See, that's where stuff gets interesting and also sad because no one wants that, but
Right,
you
right.
don't want to verify that ever. You're kind of hoping it's a rumor, but
But it
once you
intrigues you
verify it,
because it's like, why is it there? And that's the reason. Like, oh my god. But in cooler news, they actually have, in case people didn't know, King's Dominion has a tree that was actually on the moon. It's actually
hmm?
growing pretty well. Yeah, it's actually right behind. It's actually right next to that area.
So I can touch a tree on the moon, or is it protected?
Oh no, you can just walk up and touch it. It's right there.
So I can say I touched the moon technically
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
if I go to King's Dominion. Okay, so now I'm definitely going.
A King's Dominion to me, I've always called it, especially after my recent trip to Kings Island. It's Kings Island light. They don't have exactly the
All the
same amount of
coasters.
history that Kings Island has. It's clearly the sister park, but I adore my park. And when it was through that, especially through the Paramount phase with all the Hanna Bar, that was when I grew up at that park. And I recently
That's,
found old maps, and oh my god, the nostalgia.
I almost just purchased a Kings Island pennant that had the Flintstones and all them on there and Yogi Bear and freaking Scooby Doo, and I was like, they just sold it before I asked them. I was like, no,
You should just oversell them. It's cool, man.
man, I wish. I'm gonna learn how to get felts printed and just make old ones new again.
I mean, there are people that just make merch. There's a good amount of stickers I've gotten for my fight stick that isn't even official stickers from like the parks. It's like people just they make good designs. It looks close enough. It clearly is designed to theme to that ride. I'm gonna put it on, and it's supporting artists, people in the community. So
Exactly. I got some stuff going on with the project with that too, kind of similar. Like all the old posters and whatnot, we're basically just redoing them because there's no copyright anymore on the stuff I'm using. So it's
huh,
like,
interesting.
it's interesting because we can theoretically steal all the ideas and just redo them. Which is,
Man,
not necessarily steal. I should say that better. I should say we could take the old ideas and restructure them and do new things with them.
uh, creatively transform what they used to be. And
Exactly, and it's not like we're stealing something or breaking any copyright trademarks or stuff. It's readily out there.
yeah, just
But
like
it's pretty
how
fun.
it's like how I was joking with homie when I was at Kingsman last time because we were there. They were showing all the Raptera stuff, and they have all these pedestals up. Like, and then a lot of the supervisors and the employees, which is I've been there for so often in the past like 3 years, so they just know me, and it's honestly awesome to see that Kings Dominion is able to have at least a good enough culture to where they keep, people have them want to move up. Truly, because it honestly makes an effect. Because when I see them, they bring that same culture that they grew up with to the rides, and It's great, man. It's great to have that, be able to talk to some moms and have a greater time because of that. Because I don't really get that at my sister park over at BG Dub, unfortunately. Uh,
Oh yeah.
but it is beautiful. It's beautiful, and the ride collection is definitely. I still think the two parks complement each other like so well, because King's Dominion will be trying. We'll have rides that will try to literally rip your face off, and then Bush is like, okay, if you have a pass, have a free little 8 ounce, and go walk around, ride Loch Ness Monster. It's nothing but trees. You know, it's a nice little change because nothing there is really trying to kill you.
Exactly. I've wanted to go to both of those parks quite badly for a while now.
I think you will love Grizzly though. I think
I
Grizzly's
think I
calling your
will
name.
too. I think I'll love that. But I think I'll love both parks, honestly.
Yeah, I'm like, I need to go back to Ohio parks though, specifically Kings Island, because my time there, man.
Well, let me tell you, my disappointment when I knew I couldn't pay my pass off in time and shock you and show up at those places was high.
No, because I know that's the one thing is I saw the tweet before, like it was probably a month before I was going, and I'm like, man, it would be awesome if Scoob were here right now.
I tried, dude. I tried to surprise you. I tried to surprise Biff at Cedar Point, and I haven't been able to pull it off yet. But
We get
I'm
live
doing.
because you're busy,
I'm
man.
gonna pay this off this next weekend. This
Ooh.
weekend here, and I'm going to Cedar Point the 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th. I don't give a fuck.
Hey,
I'm gonna go every day.
at least ride Blue Streak for me because that ride
Oh,
is too damn
I
good,
will.
and no one talks about it. But I am a classic Woody fan, so.
Me too. But I definitely will. You don't got to worry about that. I will 100% ride that thing over
But
and over. That's the first thing I'm gonna ride. I mean, honestly,
yeah, it's right basically
first
at the front of the park. You just go there instead of already just cut left after the midway.
I go get my fast lane, bro, and I go right over there. It's honestly.
I mean, sometimes you don't even need it depending on
Oh,
the
I
day.
don't care if I need it. I get it anyways.
So I'm saying
I
for
don't
Blue
care if the
Streak.
line's 2 seconds. I still go.
But we've been talking about another island, another peninsula, we'll say. Or was Boblos really an island? It was an
It's
island,
an
right?
island. Yeah, it's actually an island.
Well, I guess I spoiled it, but the King of Boblo himself, the man
Oh,
who's been bringing this, essentially this whole amusement island back to life. It was going to be lost and forgotten, but thanks to Scoob, we're probably going to see and hear and learn a lot about what could have been, what was there, the essentially what it was punching above its weight is what it sounded like. It was what I hear about Boblo.
it's yeah, and you want to know something even crazier is by water. It's literally only 51 miles away from Cedar Point, which makes like if you think about it, that doesn't make sense. But if you look at a map, like I'm pretty much near Detroit, say, and Boblo's down the Detroit River there, right before the lake actually opens up near Canada and America there, and like I could honestly swim to Canada or be at Ohio in 10 minutes on the water. You know what I
Wait,
mean?
from Boblo?
Well, from Boblo, I would be in Canada, but from Boblo, it would take me probably about 10 minutes to get to Ohio.
Mm. Bro, but how deep does it
And
get though?
how deep does what get?
I guess from like Cedar Point
The-
to Canada.
Oh, are you talking about the lake or the distance between the two?
I guess both, if you know both.
I don't know how deep the water gets, but I can tell you how far Canada is
I
from
think
Cedar Point right now. It's
so.
only Canada's 35 miles, or that tip that's down there is 30
Jesus
near
Christ.
Leamington. But yeah, it's. Oh no, I mean,
Okay, I'm
I guess
imagining
I'm lying to
swimming.
you.
That's
I'm
why I'm
lying
like.
to you. Pele Island is 19.27, and it's on the Canadian side, so technically
19
not
points.
far.
You would be completely exhausted, but I guess it is
Yeah,
doable. And I'm
I
trying to
didn't mean
think.
swim. I meant boat.
I'm about to say 66 feet. I think that's how deep it gets. It might get deeper.
Man, I don't know, but I was in the Detroit River in a kayak the other day, and I seen what was swimming in there, and I'll tell you what, buddy, I'm not going in there.
Never mind. 210. Yeah, no,
Yeah, I was gonna
62
say Lake
feet.
Erie gets pretty deep too, if I remember correctly. I could swim to Boblo though, like literally from Grosio to Boblo. It's let me see here. Hang on. It's 1 mile across, so yeah, it's easy to do.
Yeah, but like the average depth of Lake Erie is 62, the average, but it can get as deep as 210. So I'm
Mm.
imagining there you're gonna need a boat because there's no way you're gonna take those currents. Like just no way.
Oh yeah, the Detroit River current's crazy. If we wanted to make it to Boblo by like a kayak or something, we'd be
Mm-hmm.
better off launching from Wyandotte and just rowing directly across towards Canada and letting the current take us sideways.
Huh.
Because we'd be, I mean, even if we went from Grosio, we'd have to go from the northernmost point. Because if we don't make it across, then we are what you call SOL because it opens up into the lake there and there's nowhere you can go.
Oh
It
no.
takes you straight out. So if you miss Boblo, you're fucked.
How about a jet ski?
Hmm? I've seen jet skis in the river. That could work.
Uh, maybe a fisher's boat. You know, a little dinghy.
Yeah, I would much rather that. I was eyeing it on the kayaks, man, and I was like, I could do it. I could do it. I was like thinking to myself, I can make it against the current. We're good.
See, I've just seen too many because I have some mechanophobia, but like it's to the point where it interests me. My fear interests me, so I literally like looking at shit about it. So like I love looking at the submechanophobia like subreddit and shit. Um, but there's just too many videos of idiots getting close to like big ass like boats, either in like kayaks or jet skis, and then oh my, nothing actually happens. But ooh, just imagine it, man. Just imagine it.
I'll tell you what, man. I have a big fear of the water in general.
Same.
So like,
What is that?
uh,
Elassophobia or
I
thalassophobia? That's what it's called.
yeah, because it's not the fear of the water. It's the fear of what's in the water and me not being
Exactly.
like if a fish is on land, I can square up, motherfucker. Let's go. If I'm in the water, I'm dead if it bites me and pulls me under. I
They
ain't
made a
doing
whole
nothing. What am I gonna do?
SpongeBob.
Poke its eyeball?
They made a whole SpongeBob episode based on this, where Sandy was like talking shit about sea creatures, and they were talking shit about land critters, and they went up there, and, and it's like literally like it's you know each has its benefits. You're perfect wherever you are. To them, that's the golden land. To us, this is the
Lit-
golden land. We are not aqueous, you know, we're not amphibious
I'm even getting
species.
the water without shoes on. I got water shoes for a reason. If someone
Yeah.
wants to bite my foot, at least I'm protected from the full force.
Well, I was about to say, like, in general, like, if you're going out into just open water, or, like, random, like, you don't know what the fuck's just gonna be stepping into, like, at least because I even with, like, I went coral and stuff, like, you might just step on, like, the most sharpest thing, and it'll still hurt, even with the water shoe, but I'm like, if you didn't have the water shoe on, it would just go through your foot. It was like, oh, shit.
I'm I'm terrified of the water. Like
Yeah,
honestly, you can't get me in the water unless like a bunch of people are around me.
I think we talked about this before. It was like, literally, we know more about our local galaxy and space than our own
Yep.
fucking oceans. Like, that's
Isn't
terrifying.
that nuts? That's dude. I'm telling you too. Like, all right. So here's my theory. We're gonna get into a conspiracy theory real
Oh,
quick. But here's
perfect.
my theory.
Perfect.
So the asteroids took the dinosaurs out, right? But then there's like animals that were alive back then that survived. They say like alligators, crocodiles type things, and
I guess
cockroaches and
birds somehow.
other shit. Yeah, birds, a bunch of other things survived it, right? So if it took out all the, my theory is it took out all the land dinosaurs. But you know the stories of the Lake Erie monster, or even better, the Loch Ness monster and Nessie and stuff. Hear me
Yes.
out. What if they're just fucking the dinosaurs that were in the water, bro, and they weren't lying, and they actually did see big ass creatures like that, couldn't explain it, and that's what it was? Because how did the asteroid take them out of the water? Explain that one to me.
So I think the only way, or theory wise, would be is that because the Earth got basically super boiled and just turned into a molten hellscape, that even the water wasn't safe. Like it was essentially the water was just a boiling like pot of tea that you would say on a Tuesday, but no. Essentially, I think the oceans were just fucked, if I remember correctly.
Well, it says here the exact reason why some animals survived the dinosaur extinction, which occurred about 65
Didn't
million
roaches
years
survive
ago,
too?
it's unknown, but some possible reasons include escaping to cooler environments such as underground or in the water. So,
Maybe they
I'm
were
just saying,
deep
it says you may have had a
enough.
better chance of survival in the initial hours if you were in those areas, which, now hear me out, if those big ass dinosaurs are in there, I'm sure they're capable of withstanding the pressure to go really deep. So what if they were just burrowed and then they came back out and were like, hey, I'm the Loch Ness Monster, motherfucker.
Well, I will attest to that because when you go obviously near the surface of oceans, like the deepest points ever, like on Earth, you will see like these almost prehistoric like creatures. Like there's like they're not. I'm just saying they're not evolving like that nowadays. That's some
True.
freaky shit.
And you weren't wrong about the boiling thing, but it was molten rock into the atmosphere. It wasn't into the water. It was the
Mm.
opposite. So
Ah.
temperatures rose for a very short period of time, but very drastically.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, deep down, then you might be right. Like, if you go deep
Dude, I'm
enough,
telling
it's
you,
cool enough.
I smoked enough to think that one out to myself, and I was like, you know what? Because I was watching Jurassic World or whatever, the second one, where like the mosasaur comes out and fucks up that dinosaur that's fucking the T Rex up and just finishes him off. And I was like, I looked at it and I was like, all right, now tell me how they describe the Loch Ness monster and how you would describe that dinosaur.
It was
And
very close to the Loch Ness monster.
we literally were just both. My girlfriend looked at me and she's like, "You're crazy," and I was like, "Look, all I'm saying is it's plausible that the only dinosaur that did survive was the ones in the water, right?" She's like, "All right, I'll give you that, but I seriously doubt it." And I was like, "Look, all of those sightings of this monster, Lake Erie had one supposedly. It's probably still out there. Honestly, it's just tired and hibernating or some shit like the Avatar, but." I don't know, man. That's why I don't like the water.
Well, it's funny how I say that, but there's literally so much terrifying shit in the woods, and I'm always like I can go out in the woods fine,
I
as
ain't
long
gonna
as
lie
I
to you
know
though.
where I'm going. But like,
If a bear pulls up on me, bro,
okay,
people
that's what I'm
call me
saying.
crazy. People call
Okay,
me crazy. I think that I could scare it away in any situation. I don't give a fuck how
oh,
hungry he is, because I'm gonna just go out yelling and running after him like a motherfucker.
if it's a black bear, yes. If it's a grizzly, you are the food. I'm sorry, it's just
If it's a polar bear, you're dead already.
yeah. A polar bear, grizzly bear, you're fucked. But a black bear, they're kind of bitches. So
Well, did you know that if you shit on yourself, grizzly bears are less likely to eat you if you play dead and shit on yourself? Which I know is really gross, but they don't like the smell of feces.
well, like that is not my. See, in that situation, it might not be as hard for some people to shit themselves, but
I'm pretty sure it would happen to me regardless.
it might be harder for people to shit themselves because they're so their hole is literally stitched from the clutching at that point. Like they're seeing a fucking they're seeing a bear in front of them.
Cinch this motherfucker up. Bro, how do we get on to bears in the woods and fucking...
Well, it's the high rollers. I mean,
I love it.
but to be honest, I was gonna say, are there actually any other cryptids you believe in?
Man, Bigfoot's real.
I was gonna say like I think maybe all
Off it.
the hysteria around him, like all the basically the meat, like the money made off of it, and not that true actual hunters that ruined
I know
it for
where
me.
he's at.
Okay, just him? It's only one.
I know where one of them is at. So we got this protected wildlife marsh by me, right? It's called Humbug Island. It's the only uninhabited uh, piece of land in the river or along the river in the American side along the Detroit River and shit, right? It's a protected land. They got protected species there. No one's allowed to land their kayaks on it. Everyone's allowed to go kayak near it, but you can't go on it. You can't land there. You can't go on, all that stuff. And I'm just telling you, it's the perfect location for a freaking Sam Squanch to be out there playing games, eating all the wildlife. And why would they not let us go there? Because they don't want us to find them.
Yeah, but then all the other places where it's like regular, well, I guess not civilization. It's like literally like roads, maybe like hundreds of miles until you get to actual main city again. Like out in the west, Northwest even.
Well, to be fair, he's protected by the whole entire river.
Hmm. Okay, but
And
him
maybe he was
specifically.
there. Maybe he was there before all this developed.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And nobody seemed to stop there on the Underground Railroad, but they stopped on all the other islands around here. Tell me why.
Well, so Harriet knew about Bigfoot.
I'm not saying she knew about Bigfoot. I'm just saying maybe there's a reason why they didn't go near that island.
Well, they just heard stories about.
Don't go near it, man. We don't need to go over there. We use these islands because they crossed on Boblo and stuff. There's a direct route where they crossed on Boblo when the river used to freeze into Canada.
But I think all the mass media of him might have ruined, of them, I should say, might have ruined my belief, because I truly think at this point, if people really wanted to find Bigfoot, we have the technology.
My girlfriend's friend has a uncle who's like a Bigfoot hunter, and he's got like evidence supposedly.
Well, do you know what it is?
I don't because he lives in Georgia, but she said
Oh.
whenever we're down there, we could stop by his little museum and stuff to see the stuff. And I was like, hell yeah.
He has a museum? Oh my
Yeah, I need to get
goodness.
the information on that because that would be nice to know right now. I would love to
uh,
look it up.
like, it would be cooler if the Yeti were real, is all I'm saying.
I think the Yeti's real too, bro. The Scooby Doo episodes with the fake Yetis were always the best too.
Yeah.
Where there'd be a Yeti chasing him or an abominable snowman. Come on, man, those are the best.
I'm trying to think. So, like, is the missing link, you believe in, what's the missing link exactly? I just know that's a cryptid.
Oh, the Yeti is known as the abominable snowman. I didn't know that.
I think those are the only big cryptids I can think of right now. Besides, like,
Is it the Mothman a cryptid?
yeah, but I'm like, that's almost like, I just think of villain from like a comic at that point. Like, that's,
I'm pretty sure there's a few other cryptids.
yeah. There's like the Jersey Devil and shit.
Mm.
The Chupacabra.
The Jersey Devil is the best single rail roller coaster out there.
Oh yeah, actually, I do need to ask you all that, because I always ask people to help with a little bit of tangent here to get back to coasters. But how did you get into the hobby? What was what was all that about? What was the pulling factor?
My mother, like I said, shout out better half of the channel, but we went to Cedar Point when I was 7, and we walked in, and she was pretty bold. She was like, all right, you can pick any ride you want, but if you cry, we're never coming back here again. And then I was like, oh, so I stare at Demon Drop, and I go, let's go ride that. And she looked at me, and she goes, are you sure? Like I said, if you cry, we're not coming back. I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That'd
And
be a joke, right?
that's literally that's where it came from, man. She told me if you cry, we're not coming back. She was super worried I wasn't gonna like coasters, and she said you have nothing to worry about. I would put you on something that's gonna hurt you. Yeah, you might get a little scared, but nothing's gonna happen. And I was like, all right, I trust that. I don't get why kids don't like. I don't know why people are so scared to put their kids on rides these days. Because the second thing I rode was Gemini. I went Demon Drop to Gemini. I didn't ride Blue Streak for like 10 years of my life. Like it's really just the trust in. I feel like you need to establish that with your kids, and then the fear kind of disappears. These family coasters keep shrinking in size, and a family coaster back in the day was Blue Streak, not
Shit,
fucking the
Gemini
Wild
was a
Mouse
family
that's 20
coaster.
feet tall. Right, exactly. Like these were family rides, and now they're starting to become extreme family rides, and it's like, no, that is weird. Why are we? And I don't know what's happening. Like I saw last year there was a kid crying, and they literally made him get off the ride, and his mom. And I was just sitting there like, I cried on Millennium Force, and the lady literally said, "Oh, you'll be all right, sweetie," and then pushed my seatbelt down back in the day. Like, what changed?
I mean,
Like,
honestly, so shout outs to Hawk Vandalay on Twitter, because he put out a tweet that I resonated with. Is if you have a cool family, any ride is a family coaster or a family ride.
right?
And it's like,
Yeah,
we grew up with, like, I resonated with that, because when my sisters took me to parks and I was a little bitch, they were like, there was no thought of riding the family. I mean, we did them to ride everything, but like, they were building me up to get on the big shit. Like, to get on Volcano, to get on Anaconda. Like, that was it. You know, like we rode the big rides when we went to parks together as a family. So I'm like,
Yes.
I kind of do agree. Like, especially when I've been saying the past few casts, some of these parks need to realize their identity of what they grew up on. Like,
Yeah, your point.
they are literally saying, hey, like I get like somewhat building up a portfolio for other things, and even not necessarily kids, but just so a mom that might be a little too overwhelmed with Cedar Point's lineup can then get on maybe Blue Shriek or I guess Wild Mouse, but that's spin. So, but
Yeah,
you
I
know what I'm
think that's
saying?
worse. Honestly, that's what's
That's what I'm
crazy. Is
saying.
like,
Well, but like Cedar, like stuff, parks like that, when they're Dollywood getting more family makes sense than a park like Kings Island.
yeah, yeah,
But
I would agree with that statement. 100%. But yeah, that's really what got me into it was my mom. Is because it's funny. My dad hates roller coasters. Like he likes to be in control of things, so he never liked the parks, so he
mm,
never went.
I've heard
It was
that
just with my mom.
I've heard that before from a friend, so that's funny. And yeah, he's like,
Is
I'm
your
not in
friend's dad
control.
like a police officer by any chance, or a
No,
fucking government worker?
no, he's not actually at all.
Oh
But
man.
he just, just literally says, I'm not in control. He's like, I'm in a car. I'm able to control left or right. I'm on this. I can't control it, but I'm like, I can't mess with him. I'm like, so when we take the metro, we're not in control of this train.
He's like, shut up, don't remind me. Literally where he's thinking it. He's like, nope.
And it's funny because we will just be like, freshly just like hitting the J, coming down at the station too, just like, good
Hey man,
times, good
just so you know,
times.
you're not in control.
Just letting you know, dude, like, especially now, like, I mean, I think especially DC does, but there be some trains now that don't even have people manning them. I don't know where, but like, these autonomous fast ass metro trains, which America needs to get, but or I don't know if we
Yep.
actually do because wasn't Brightline something like that, and we had like they had two, I think there's still a thing, but they have massively scaled down to only being in Florida.
I
Instead of trying
saw
to be
one
global.
really fast train when I was a kid, and I mean, like that thing was zooming like fast. Like,
You know, people.
I was young, but I was like, holy shit, I've never seen a train move that quick. It was like, it was there, and then it was gone, and then like the lights were gone, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, whoa.
And it was just passing through the station, I'm assuming, right?
I don't know where I was. We were in a car sitting
Ah,
at a train thing. I don't know. I don't remember where I was, but I remember seeing a really fast fucking train and going. I've never seen something moving that quick before.
people say that if you're a fan of trains as a kid, it's the segue into being a roller coaster enthusiast.
I don't think
Which
I was, honestly, but it's funny.
but I can't say I was a fan of trains. One of the first games I played was a train game. I can't. If I looked it up, I could probably find it. But it was literally like on Windows 98. Like this train. I'm gonna say it was a simulator. It was kind of like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but you were running and doing like scenarios for like getting like shipments there on time. There were different trains you had to take. You had to different take like a shipment from this train to that train, and then yeah, like and it was like RCT1 graphics. Like it was isometric. Yeah, I remember playing the hell out of that. That was one of the games I played. I was like,
Do I know the first game I actually remember playing is Tony Hawk on the PC.
oh, on the PC. They had it on the PC. That's
Yep,
crazy.
and I remember hating it, and then I got it on the PS1, and I remember loving it from there on out.
Oh, because you had to use keyboard and fucking mouse.
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out when I was fucking 6 years
No,
old. I was like, what's going on?
I'm not gonna lie. So my cousins got me into gaming early, like 4 or 5. But the one that was really into gaming, like he had a PC, he was in the COD like early on and all that shit. I couldn't play any of those games because they're keyboard and mouse. And then my other cousins had an Xbox, had a GameCube, and I'm like, cool. Then they had a 64. It's like this works out. I have a fucking
I remember
controller.
playing the 64 too over at my buddy's house who used to babysit me back in the day. We'd always go in there and play either Donkey Kong or Tony Hawk. Pro Skater like 1 or 2 or whatever was on the. I think it was just Pro Skater 1, but maybe it was 2. I remember them all, so it had to be 2.
Tony, they. I don't remember if the last one is actually good. I actually think it was actually bad, but They need to
No,
bring
the
back
last
a.
one's good. The remaster with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, it's just like the
Okay.
original games. Yeah, it's original games, better graphics. I mean, you're not going to get anything new. It's definitely the same old game, but it's way cooler.
I think it was
I was
Pro
ranked
Skater.
on their leaderboards online for a while. I was ranked like number 3,000 and something for highest score on the warehouse.
Oh shit. I think it
Dude,
was maybe the. Was it Pro Skater 5 or something?
yeah, that was the shitty one. You're
Yeah.
100% right. That one sucked. Ride sucked. Project 8 wasn't very good. There was a lot of bad ones in between there.
Yeah, and then I know now there's a few indie ones. I know Sessions been making waves. There's another one alongside of that too. I can't remember the name of
I
it.
know what you're talking about, but I don't know the name of it. But I was looking at it the other day, and I was like, man, Skate needs to hurry up and finish this shit.
Yeah, and apparently it's free to play, so that's gonna be crazy too.
Right?
Yeah, it's gonna be free to play.
So you don't have to buy it; you just download it.
Yeah, but they're gonna microtransaction you. But you probably don't gotta buy anything just to skate.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't care. I'll play with the basics.
yeah.
I'm telling you, the only game I know, like the only game I would actually bet my life on, if the loser got to, or the winner got to shoot the loser, would be a Tony Hawk session, bro. I would bet my life against almost anybody. Those were the games I grew up on. Like that and Madden, I was good at, but wasn't the greatest. But Tony Hawk, I used to fuck my uncles up when I was young. Everybody, I got so good at that game for no reason,
It's all about the chain and the combos, bro.
dude. And figuring out when to start your manual or your grind trick before
Mm-hmm.
you hit the end of the clock, so you can go for the extra. It's only 2 minutes, but you get 4 minutes if you're smart enough.
Man, like, I wish just let me go back to being a kid. Actually, sometimes.
I swear, I still am just with responsibilities. Like I know the
I mean,
responsibilities suck, but
yeah.
they're kind of fun too.
No, 100% I'm with you on that. But damn, just imagine the no responsibility part was.
I think the part that sucks the most is the change. Like,
Yeah.
like you think when you're a kid that you're always gonna go to your grandma's house, or you're always gonna go see your uncles, or you're always gonna go do this, and then suddenly those things just don't happen anymore, and you don't play hockey in the street with your friends, or you don't go, to the park, and you don't go skate, and you don't talk to people for 10 years, and it's like, what the fuck just happened? For 16 years of my life, this was every day.
Yeah, the change part. I get that
That's
because
yeah, I think that's the worst part about it because it just all the time. If you look back for long, that's why like people say if you look back at the past long enough, it'll hurt you because like it does. While looking back at old memories, it will hurt. Like oh, it's not the same, but then you got to realize today's just as fun too. I'm talking to you, man. When I was 16, did I think I'd be talking to a friend in states over from me with the same hobbies?
right.
No, never in a million years. Like I didn't grow up thinking I want to do roller coaster content and make friends that are coaster friends. Never. Am I grateful that this happened? Fuck yeah, dude. This is so cool. It's
Right.
honestly one of the coolest parts about. And I know people get old and then we die, and that's the part that sucks too. Not to get all sad here, but we got a lot of time to do shit, man. We got a lot of time to do shit, and that's the fun part.
A lot of time.
And a lot of time turns to no time quick, so people got to realize they got to enjoy it while they have it.
Yeah, and really doing something with it, even if it's simple work, it's honest work. Like,
Yeah, I mean, people always say they want to be happy, but at some point when people become happy, then you just want to be like, not usable, I should say, but you want to be valuable to people. You want to be of value and someone relied on more so, not necessarily happy, because you can be happy all you want and then you get bored.
oh yeah, oh
It's
yeah.
hard to stay happy when you're bored.
Uh, Man, you just never know who you meet in this hobby. We always say at the end of the cast, but
Bro, could you imagine if like we were like 70 still talking about this shit?
well, hopefully we're 70, and this is like we're talking about the 40th anniversary of. Yeah, hold up, but that no, hold up, the 50th anniversary uh,
I'm gonna
of the
just tell
Boblo
you right now.
documentary.
Yeah, well, that and also your podcast, however many years at that point, and now you can't quit this podcast. So even if you guys stop recording together for a long period of time, it's still never over because at some point I'm gonna hit you up on whatever social media or artificial intelligence I can to telecommunicate with you at the time, and we're gonna do it again.
Yeah, it's gonna be Nettie's or some weird social media that is made that because all the other ones got destroyed and weird like it's taken over by hackers or some shit. It just infested now. It's basically a black market and a dark web you could just log on to and install.
And suddenly you'll get a message through the black web from an old friend, and you'll be like, "Oh, finally, it's useless or it's useful."
Oh my god. No, seriously though, like I I am so grateful to have met a lot of these people in this hobby because I know. I mean, there has been bad apples. It's inevitable, especially how big the hobby is getting. But
Yeah.
people I keep around, I'd want to keep around forever. So, and also, I don't know if I said it yet. Thank you for coming on, Scoob. I know so.
Thanks for having me, dude. Honestly, I wanted to talk to you a while ago, but our schedules have been all off, and then we got busy, and like you said, life gets in the way sometimes. But I'm never gonna let that happen again, man. We'll always make time. That's
That's the
something I want to
thing.
do better as a friend is like make time for people.
That's the thing is you got to make that time. And I had to learn that balance because you could be hardworking all you want, but then for me, it was like you were saying earlier. Like now I'm not sure I'm working, I'm succeeding, I'm being productive, but I haven't seen my
Yeah,
family or my friends in like how
it gets quick, man.
yeah
Like
it
suddenly it's been 3 years and you haven't talked to somebody, and you're like, "Damn, am I really that invested in something? I couldn't make a phone call or go hang out for a couple of nights," and it's weird.
yeah yeah like bro my nieces and nephews oh like
It's
I
like what the adults used to say to you, "Oh, you're getting big so fast, right?"
yeah and I'm getting fucking old. Shit, I know I'm not even 30 yet, but like
Bro,
the fact that I've seen essentially two lives start from, you know, days old to now. One is his own place, a car. One is about to get a car, about to graduate from high school. Like, fuck,
it's
bro.
nutty. And like that's crazy because I'm almost, I'm 28 now, and it's like realistically, yeah, I'm almost 30, but I still feel like I'm fucking. I don't feel any different than I did when I was 10, 15, 20. Like
Yeah,
I still feel the same. So I'm grateful for that part, and I'll always be a kid at heart. I know I'll have to grow up and do some big boy things at times and whatnot. Everybody does. Pull your pants up, get it done, then go act like a child when you're at home again or something. Like, man, it's tough because people lose it when they get older, man. They lose that spark, and life's too fun, man.
and sometimes they get it back too, though. Because like it's like you said, they kind of do the same thing, get money
Yeah,
and lose the passion, but then they find it in something else. Uh,
that's what I did, man. 23 to 28, or 23 to like 26, 21 to 26, I'd say. I don't know what the fuck I was doing.
I was basically
Like,
the same way, bro. Like literally, like I was just getting out of stopping esports because I'm like, all right, this is a dead end. Like this should be a hobby, you know, like and trying to get back into school and then career, and then I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, but like, and for me, like, I love my hobbies, so it's like I want to have a career isn't necessarily ever going to be fun for me. So I want to make sure I can do a career that helps me with my hobbies that are fun, that help my mental health.
yeah, I got to a point
So
where I didn't want to work for somebody else and I wanted to work my own schedules, and it's kind of hard to do unless you're your own boss.
yeah,
So, as much as I don't want to put in the hard work or do certain things, like, fuck, man, you got to because I want to do that, and my hobbies are where I find the passion. So, filmmaking and stuff like that, I'll go to school for that. I don't necessarily think I'm going to get a job for it, but it's a fallback and it's
exactly.
cool, but I want to do that on my own time. I want to figure out how to get budgets and fundraise on my own and be an independent filmmaker and make my own money. Like that sounds more fun. I could go do what I want. I could make a film about the national parks I visit, or all the cars I drive. Like there's a million things you can just do if you're creative enough and you have the tools.
Really, I think the message of this cast, even if you don't make it all the way to the end here, but you should, because we're gonna talk about Boblo. Don't worry about it. But you can do anything. Truly, like it may sound like it's crazy, but the reason why I'm going to say that is because when you started talking about, you know, the space, I remember hearing about Boblo from your not only your Twitter hit like a name at the time, but like you were talking about it in the spaces on Twitter/X, and that was the first, honestly, one of the first times I ever heard about it. And you said you wanted to do so much with it and tell the story about it, and fast forward to now, you are now been doing so many talks, so many big things and leaps and bounds with it. Um, I guess when did it really begin making those leapfrogs?
Oh, okay. So
When did you actually begin seeing the progress? When did you actually start making that? Yo, I'm gonna actually do this. I'm not just gonna fucking say this is happening. Like,
I knew from the very beginning, the first time I said that I was going to do it, that I was going to do it. But the capabilities to do it and knowing how to do it, I didn't know. And that's the kind of daring thing. Sometimes people talk before they know what they're doing, and that's exactly what I did. So for 2 years, it was me basically shouting to you guys, and you guys were the ones telling me I could do it. Friends, people I met through this hobby were like, "Yeah, dude, you can do it. You can do it." And it's like, after a while, I took that as like, all right, I wrote the script, I did all this work myself, I did a bunch of research, and finally, it's gonna sound funny, but I just went online and I was like, how do you make a film by yourself? And just started watching like either the videos or other blog posts and reading them and how other people got budgets and did stuff, and I started putting that together, and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna reach out to the guy who made the Boblo Boats documentary, because if I can get him to talk to me, maybe I can make this happen.
I'm just
And probably,
imagining Martin Scorsese's looking up
dude,
how to make a film by my.
shout out to our buddy Zolt too. I know he's not on Twitter anymore and stuff, but shout out to him because he uh he, he said something that was, sort of, we were arguing at the time, but he said something that's probably the nicest thing that's ever been said to me, and it's not going to sound the nicest thing, but I was talking about how, like, certain things they say can, affect how a park views you or wants to work with you or do documentaries or stuff with you at the time, and he basically said, "Oh, what are you trying to be the next Martin Scorsese or something?" And then I looked up like, how did Martin Scorsese make his first film? And then I read an interview from him talking about how he did a lot of ragtag shit and had to figure it out on the fly, and nobody knows what they're doing until they do it a few times. Like, it's not, once you do it once, you can't replicate the same process again. It doesn't work the same way every time. You got to learn different ways to acquire information than you did the last time, and some of the ways will work, some of them won't. And he's like, basically said it takes time, but if you're doing it, you're on the right track. And I was like, okay, so if I can start where he starts, then I just, like the comment was meant to be kind of a little dickhead move in the argument, but it turned out to be one of the better things that's ever been said to me, because it's like, yeah, motherfucker, I do want to be. I do. I want to be Jared Goolsby, my filmmaker.
Let's go.
Fuck Martin Scorsese or whatever. Like, I want to be able to make amusement park films for parks and then be like, holy shit, yeah. Or other parks be like, wow, I want that guy to make something for us, and just move on from it, man. It's fun. And yeah, I want to do other stuff too. I don't want to live on amusement parks my whole life, but it's my hobby, it's my passion. So yeah, I'm always gonna make that content. I love this stuff. It's 100% gonna be the majority of what I do, but I might make a fucking nature documentary too, just for fun.
Yeah, make
And hopefully it's good enough people like it.
Planet Earth.
Oh
The
man, I
Scooby
think those people
version.
got that stuff wrapped. They got cameras that I can't even imagine paying for.
And like, aren't
Or,
they out there for like months, like 8 months, 9 months, getting like some of them segments? Like Jesus Christ.
dude, yeah, yeah. There's just so much to that. I mean, even nature ones are kind of like that too. If you do a seasons thing with nature, like especially here, there's four of them. Where we're at, there's four of them. Where we're at, mostly there's four seasons. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to, document something if you're not documenting the whole thing, or you go film all your shit in the summer, then you're making a film about the summer of whatever you're making, it's, people don't realize that when they're filming and stuff, like, you got to capture, the story isn't just told through the words, like, I can sit here and tell you things all day. You might get bored. I still have to keep you entertained through the visuals. The visuals also have to teach you things and show you things that I'm not physically saying to you. It's it's fun learning that stuff. Do I
Yep.
know how to do it? No, but learning it's fun, and having people tell me what I did wrong on that Top Thrill 2 one and telling me what I did right helped. And I don't know. I would say honestly, when I knew it was real was when after I talked to Aaron, I started reaching out to people, and Aaron gave me the final owner's number after a while of me pestering and asking and him reaching out to him. The owner finally agreed to talk to me, and that was when I knew it was real because I called him and talked to him for 5.5 hours, and that was when I was like, okay, I could stop doing research today and tell a story. Like I could sell that as it is. But I'm not stopping there. I'm going to do the whole thing. You know, I'm crossing T's and I's, journalist type behavior here. You got to do the whole work. But I knew it was real when I talked to that owner. And
Hmm.
I started seeing the excitement kind of in like my mom's eyes and my girlfriend's eyes when I was telling them what I was doing, and started seeing like adults kind of respecting it too.
Right.
I guess, you know, peers are one thing and people that are younger than me is one thing. But like, when older people are starting to be like interested in what you're doing and want to support it, it kind of feels good because they're out of touch with what you're doing.
I
So
was
they
just about to say, like, the people that don't even know what you're doing.
or how you're
Essentially.
doing it because like your friends know what you do and like people
Exactly.
you love know how you do it. So it may not even be as impressive to them. It's not even, you know, it's not their responsibility to be impressed, but it's more or less like getting the authentication from people who don't care about you.
Exactly.
Like that don't know you, don't care, don't give a shit about you, telling you you're doing something good. And you know, they have no skin in the game. I gotta, I think you joined it or something, or I invited you. But the documentary on uh the page on Facebook, 100 people in like a week and a half, like already in there. I've got footage obtained. I've got 100 historical societies that I've talked to. It's crazy, and never in a million years did I think it was possible until my friends kind of told me to keep doing it, and they showed an interest in Boblo Island in those silly little Twitter spaces.
Yeah, I know Twitter spaces are normally used for random drama, cryptocurrency crashes, and all that stuff, but at least the little niche we made for Twitter spaces has been pretty awesome.
I would say the friends I've met, and yeah, people are, you know, fun in there and whatnot, and but it's all good, man. That's such a fun time being able to talk to people all over the country at once.
Yeah. Yeah,
We got people from the UK who've joined.
oh yeah. And, I mean, that was interesting too because we get to hear their thoughts about stuff we haven't even wrote, you know. Uh,
Right, and our like what they think about our stuff too. That's I
yeah.
find that interesting because it's always like, well, Americans and you know the other side have their own thoughts about each other at times. Like, what do you think about our parks? You know,
Like,
I think their
seriously.
parks are inversion based, and I don't really like a lot of their parks. Do they think our parks are, ooh, up and down airtime? That's lame. Like, you know,
I think a lot of them. So a lot of them, when they come back from our parks, they love the rides, but then they're like, you know what? I'm actually a park enthusiast, not a roller coaster enthusiast. Because, and this is not a shot to Coaster Bar at all, but like, I get what he's saying because I'm literally on the same boat. Because I'm like, I do love a great ride, but if that ride is telling a story as well, that I can actually, you know, comprehend, and the theme is cool, and there's cool effects, and like, there's multiple centuries going on, like, that's cool. Like it's basically elevating and getting to where we are in the modern age of what a theme park ride or amusement park ride can be. So
yeah, and I think people have that distinction too, where they forget theme parks and amusement parks are very much different.
yeah, yes,
They have
yes,
the same things, but they're different, and they're geared differently, man. They are, and like I love theme parks. Don't get me wrong. You want to know what my favorite water park I've ever been to is Blizzard Beach at Disney, man. And I know
oh
it's like open
man,
every other season or whatever, but you could count me to go back to that every time I'm down there because that thing is so cool. And I remember like just being at a theme park that's fully like in like a winter wonderland in the middle of Florida, and I was like, what the fuck is this, man? Like
yeah,
I just felt like I was swimming with a Yeti.
yeah. That's the one thing I literally, because I'm an analytical person. So as a kid, that bothered me. I was always trying to find reasons or why that happened. Because everything is snowy, but like clearly it's like 80, 90 degrees, maybe 100. It's fucking Florida, so it's like.
I love that park with a passion, dude. I will defend that park for the life of me. That
Did you
is the
get on
greatest
a?
water park ever, and I hate water parks.
Did you get on Summit Plummet?
Oh yeah, everything, dude. The freaking sky ride there. I rode every single slide, everything. I went in everywhere. I was there all day.
See, I knew about that park mostly after I went because I had this PC game that was a Disney karting game, but it was essentially every track was based on the Magic. No, it was on Walt Disney World. So it was like it would be Test Track was a track, obviously. They had like Big Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain, stuff like that. Just like all the random rides like put into tracks, and they had Blizzard Beach like as a whole as a track. And that was one of my favorite tracks of all time. And I remember wanting to go back to Blizzard Beach as a kid really bad just because of that track. So that was really funny. Just
Dude, I love that park. But
it's
yeah,
also very 90s feel too.
Theming and amusements are different. Like thrill parks are meant for just the thrill. They're not meant to tell you a story. And
America has a lot of thrill. A lot of thrill. But they have the theme. Like Dollywood is a theme park.
Yeah, Dollywood's a theme.
Silver Dollar City is a theme park. But you have the resorts, and I do think there's a difference between resorts and a park, because Cedar Point says Cedar Point, resort and hotels. They're still a park. Okay, like they
park. Most people view it as an amusement park.
Yeah, they have a lot of hotels, but they definitely operate like a really big amusement park. But,
it's a weekend getaway for most people.
Yeah, that is definitely, you could be a weekender day for sure.
Or a Halloween weekend getaway type thing, Thursday through Sunday, and then they go home.
I'm tempted. I'm just saying this year, I'm tempted.
If you go to Halloween weekends, I'll meet you there.
I'm tempted.
Bro, just go.
So
just don't go like September 20 something because I have a wedding to go to. But
wait, how important is that wedding? I'm just kidding.
I have to go. I'm standing in it, but
okay. No, please go to the wedding regardless.
I'm already skipping out on the bachelor party, bro.
Okay.
I don't do that shit. I mean, no offense, but I'm not really his friend. It's my girlfriend's sister's soon-to-be husband, and I like Zach. Okay. He's a good dude. Okay. I shouldn't say I'm not his friend. I'm his friend. He's cool and all, but like I don't know him, so they're all doing their own thing. It's like mostly his friends and then me. So right. I just kind of feel like a third wheel, and no offense. I just, if I think I'm working that day, but if I'm not, I'll go. I'm not saying I won't go. I'll definitely go. But if work happens, I have a way out of it too. But they're good people. They're gonna play, Smash Brothers all night and bonfire and go to Dave and Buster's during the evening and shit. And it sounds like a good day. I'm not trying to hate on it. It sounds fun. They're all really nice people. When you just feel like you don't know anybody, so you're scared.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't want to show up and be the awkward dude.
Honestly, I've been using You Never Know Who You Meet in this hobby for like life now. So if I were just like, if I had the energy and I wasn't preoccupied with something else, I'd be like, fuck it. And that's more often than not than what I used to do. But Smash, that's because I used to be really the Smash, so that's cool.
Yeah, it should be a good time, man. It definitely sounds like a good night. So if I'm not working, I'm going. I'm definitely gonna go. So it's just nerves and stuff. I don't know them.
Nah, you should go. You gonna have a great time, man. And the question I have is, can you see Boblo from Cedar Point?
No, you can see Boblo from where I am, though. Not where I'm at right now, but like the city I live in.
Well, to the people that are not familiar, what exactly is Boblo Island? What was it?
A leisure resort in 1898, and then turned into an amusement park over the decades. It was nearly 100 years old when it closed. Same age as Cedar Point. Pretty close. They were like 30 years younger, but they were old, and it would have been one of the oldest operating parks, continuously at this point. But
yeah.
They closed down in 1993, a sad 3 years before I was born, and I saw, former rides on the island from Grosseal, and I watched those get tore down over the years and watched the final one come down during COVID, and that's that for the rides. And the boat dock building and the offices that were in Detroit got tore down last September, and a lot of it's gone. The St. Clair's here. The Columbia is in Buffalo. Those were the boats that you took to get there because, like you said, it's an island. You couldn't drive a freaking car there. You had to get on a boat to go there. So it was kind of cool. The people always reminisce about the moonlight cruises for it. But that's essentially what Boblo was. It was a memory for people call it Detroit's Coney Island, but realistically, it's Amherstburg and Windsor and all those places too, and
Yeah.
downriver, which includes Wyandotte and Gibraltar, and it was a lot of places. Summer getaway and the 1 day fun day basically.
Especially back then when, I mean, there was trolley parks. Obviously, they were the rage back from
Yeah,
the 30. I mean, yeah, the 20s because it started then, and then the 30s they kind of got hurted because of the depression. But we have a few that live today, obviously.
yeah, and Pablo went through another one too because I don't know if anybody here did you see the movie 1967?
No, what is that about?
The Detroit riots, and like I don't know if you've ever heard about that, but the riots were happening while the island was open, and I actually got a story from a lady today who was there. She's 71 years old, and she told me about she was 17 at the time when it happened, and like when the riots started in Detroit, they were all like sheltering in place on the island because they thought the island was going to turn into a riot too because there was a lot of Detroiters over in the Canadian side, and they said it took like 12, 13 hours to get everybody off the island and back home to Canada. And over
Damn.
on the Michigan side, I mean, it was pretty bad. The Michigan State Police were just beating the shit out of, I mean, black
Jesus.
people and fucking being racist fucks. And the city like burned down, and it was pretty bad. It was really bad over here. I got a full account from this lady, like talking about it, and it's.
No.
I never thought I would talk to someone who actually witnessed it and remembers it. He's 71. There's not a lot of people who are just out there on Facebook willing to talk about random shit. And she's like, "Hey, I was there, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Whoa, wait, what?"
And I mean, like, and people forget how it's only been really 60 years since
Yeah,
we really gotten past any of that stuff. So
if we're talking right now, it's been 57. You're 100% right, and it's scary because everybody shows it in black and white. And not to turn the podcast away from Boblo real quick, but they show it in black and white, but that's for a reason. All that shit's colorized. There was color TV back then. All that shit was in color. They just do it to make it look like it's older, so you guys think it happened longer ago.
wow.
That shit was your grandparents. That's what's crazy. Our grandparents like lived through that
Yeah.
in their primes. Like that was their youthful ages, and it's like, oh shit.
Oh, so what were their like known attractions there? What was?
They got a couple over the years. The Nightmare, well, known attractions. Actually, the probably most well-known attraction they had was the Final Destination 3. Have you ever watched that?
Oh yes.
Okay, so the roller coaster in that is actually the original corkscrew from Boblo. It wasn't at Boblo when it was filmed. It was moved to PNE Playland in Vancouver, but that is the roller coaster. Obviously, they used a lot of camera work to make the roller coaster look a lot longer because there's only three inversions on that coaster. It's not as many as it showed in that, you know, video, and it's not as tall as it is either. But that is the coaster they used for that. And I also, I know the St. Clair too. One of the boats. This was I'm trying to think. It was in um a famous movie. Why am I blanking on the scene? I know it was in something. And it's like a really famous movie. I'll remember it later. But yeah, it was. That's another famous thing from there because the boats are honestly the most memorable part.
Hmm. Yeah, about to
They
say yeah,
had
the boats.
Yeah, the boats. I mean, going back, so let's get into some interesting stuff. The Sky Streak is Titan at Selva Magica today, and that was their coaster built in 1973, built by Sansei Technologies. Now, do
Was that
you hear anything in that name?
what by SNS?
Technically. Now, Sansei Technologies was a different company, and then Sansei and something else, and you know how they have all those like side companies and shit?
Yeah.
what Sansei Technologies was turned into SNS. So theoretically, there is a really good operational SNS roller coaster out there that is reliable, but it's not technically an SNS coaster. But the same company who owns that company that built it now is the company, so it's interesting.
That's troll to me because their very first one is. So you're saying it's operational, like
Yeah,
somewhat?
Titan's still running. It's Salva Magica.
I wonder if it's reliable because if it's more reliable, one of their first rides more reliable than like half their newer rides. That'd be kind of
Well, you
insane.
got to think it was built in 1973, so it's 51 years old now,
Yeah.
and they're still running that motherfucker.
I'm whenever. Yeah, it has to be rough.
Oh man, I'm wondering because it looks fun. Theme Park Reviews got some rides on it, and it looks smooth in his video.
Let's look at it now. What is it? What is it called? The
It's Titan. It's Salva Magica.
Titan
Yep,
Magica.
Salva Selva.
Ah,
Yep,
so
the first one. Right
look at it.
there, man. That first one you can watch. They're all good. Oh, Transformers 4 was what the historic Columbia was in. That scene where you see the boat and like the people in the high tech gear and stuff. It was in Transformers 4.
Really? Huh.
Yep, back
I
in
actually saw that one.
2013. Yep. So you saw a piece of Boblo there. And have you been to Over Texas?
I have not, unfortunately.
I was gonna say the boats on their log flume are from the log flume at Boblo as well.
Hmm.
And then there's that Texas Wonderland amusement park down there in Texas as well. They have the old former Nightmare roller coaster at Boblo, which then after Boblo closed, moved to Astro World, and we all know what happened there. Astro World closed after 3 years of it
Uh,
operating there, so now it's at Texas Wonderland as an outdoor coaster.
honestly, on that itinerary, that was one of the few days I had of like just talking about just these defunct, other defunct
Dude,
things. Because
it's
obviously
funny because
Boblo's
these
easier for
rides
you.
went to a bunch of places, man.
Oh, so do you see this right now? By the way.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. So yeah, I think in the front, honestly, you probably be getting some decent airtime, but
Oh, I heard it's an airtime machine all over.
oh wow.
The speeds weren't calculated back then properly. They got a breaker up there because it's going so fast.
Bro, like, this really is just a steel wooden coaster. You know what I mean? Like,
It's literally a steel like blue streak type thing. It just goes up and down and up and down and up and down. Oh,
oh,
check this out.
and there's
Enthusiasts love
straight
this part.
track. Yes,
Enthusiasts
straight
love
track
this
at
part.
20 miles an hour into the brake run.
Nope, nope. Airtime hill,
Oh,
buddy.
it's a sleep airtime hill.
Bro,
That's hilarious. See,
I hear enthusiasts used to just sit there and clap the whole time. Another fun fact, Ace visited Boblo Island as well. I think it was 1989 they went there.
oh, they gave him a second lap. This guy. Oh, they're about to. Like,
There's the Hornet at Texas Wonderland too that is currently operational still from Boblo as well. That was the Nightmare, which is a Vekoma.
free coma. I always think that when I.
The corkscrew coaster at Boblo was also a Vekoma. Many people think it's an arrow, but it was a Vekoma. It was a Vekoma corkscrew with bear and curve model.
Oh.
Interesting, right? Yeah, look up corkscrew at Peony Playland next, actually. That one will have you going, what the jank?
So this
That
is a
one looked
coma?
rough.
It's Thunderbolt. I need. Fine. Fine. We'll go here.
Yeah, that counts. It's funny because they got the same setup as they did at Boblo, too. It looks the same, the station and all that. Same with Titan at Selva Magica. The station's literally like a metal built station, so it's the same.
So what was the. So, in its prime, what was its prime years, would you would say, Boblo had?
Ooh.
And-
Ooh. Probably 70s, I would. Well, no, because that's when shit fell into disrepair, so. It depends on how you look at it, because, like, roaring 50s and 60s was
Oh!
good for the park. But yeah, you see that jank transition, bro? Check that out. Yeah, I would say 50s and 60s was probably prime for the park, but the 80s is when they built a lot of rides like Corkscrew and Nightmare and whatnot. And the park was, they had a lot of other entertainment options too. Like the dance hall was one of the largest in North America when it was built, commonly misconceived as an Albert Kahn and Henry Ford funded thing, but it is not. It was built by someone else. I think his name was John Scott, but I could be wrong. But
This ride,
nonetheless,
this
it's
ride
crazy, right?
is trying to be a wild mouse, but
It's
a
like
Vekoma
Gemini
looper at
meets
the same.
Wild Mouse meets Looping Corkscrew.
Yeah, like what the fuck? That is
Literally,
hilarious. Like I love looking. Looking at like essentially them trying to figure this roller coaster shit out.
it's beautiful. It's
Oh
such a
god.
twisty. What the hell is that type of ride?
Like the first half of it is a corkscrew layout, like the from Arrow over Coma, and then after it turns into Gemini or Wild Mouse. Like,
It's crazy, right?
but like
When
that's
you
what it
pop
looks
the air
crazy.
type,
Yeah, it looks crazy because it's like it shouldn't be taking those transport. It's not as tight as a Wild Mouse, but it's still pretty tight. Like it's literally like half an Arrow train or a Vekoma
and
train,
look at that view right there. You just see the corkscrews in the station. That's so cool.
and that's
Yeah,
still
man,
running
they had
today.
some cool rides there, but they also focused a lot on family entertainment. And let me do some math here. When did The Simpsons start, Aaron?
I don't. Let me quick Google search. When did
1989, right? Okay, so one of the first places that had sponsorships with The Simpsons was Boblo Island, and you could see Bart and Homer Simpson and Marge running around and Lisa on the island in costumes at one point, and I have footage of that.
hmm?
I would assume it's the 1990 season when that footage was obtained, but no, it was 1991. So within the first year and a half of them being like a show, they were one of the first people to have like a sponsorship with them. They had a whole Simpsons thing there. Which imagine if today they still had would be one of the most valuable IPs ever, and they'd have it at like probably a discount rate because they got it way back then. Crazy to think
Yeah,
about, huh?
yeah. I mean,
Bob Lowe's cool to people. I mean, talking to people in Detroit and around here and growing up in Gibraltar, I heard a lot of stories about it, right? But I didn't know the impact. So then I go to Canada last weekend and I start talking to them, and like people over there are freaking obsessed with it, bro. Like
hmm.
they're equally
Wow.
as obsessive as I am. And I was talking to historians, collection people, actual museums, the mayor, some guy in his backyard who's now my friend. Like a million people just wanted to tell me about this island. I go over there. Oh yeah, I talked to the actual management of the island right now too, and they gave me a book and a puzzle, which I mean, a Boblo Island puzzle, which is cool. But I didn't even expect them to talk to me. I walked in there thinking it was a Boblo Island museum, and nah, that was like a leasing office, bro. And they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, just checking all this stuff out." And they're like, "Oh, why are you, interested in Boblo?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm making a documentary." And instantly they were like, because they don't like people visiting their island is really private now, and the ferry service is private, so the public can't go over there. And I said something, and then I realized they were a little alarmed, and I was like, "Yeah, I feel like the media kind of portrays the island today as a bad thing, and while it stinks that the amusement park's gone, some things got to end and things change for the better." And they instantly opened up and started giving me a bunch of like Boblo Island resources, their cards and stuff. And I know the vice or she's the GM or whatever of the company that runs the island and actually lives over there. I've been talking to her too, so hopefully I'll get over there soon.
In tabletop terms, you passed the diplomacy check.
Man, I've done a
Uh,
whole bunch of shit over there. I can't believe I talked to a mayor, dude.
right, which we're gonna get to, because what was like the scope of Boblo? Because it seemed like they were trying to be somewhat big at some point. You got a Vekoma looping coaster
Okay,
here,
so
and
AAA, it went through a lot of management changes in the 80s. AAA bought it, built a bunch of rides. They were successful at turning it around. They sold it for a little more than they bought it for, or whatever. Then the International Broadcasting Company bought it. They almost instantly went bankrupt. Someone else bought it in 1992. He almost instantly went into the red. And then Michael Moon bought his investors bought it, and it kind of just went down the shitter then. But Michael had a bunch of well, it went down the shitter, unfortunately, because Michael had an accident after this, or like in October, and his investors took it to court, took control of his assets of the park, and then sold everything out from underneath him while he was in a coma and recovering. So, like, really shitty behavior from your investment team, but
Right.
nonetheless, he had different
Right.
investors that he was working with, and he was going to buy the Ben Royas out of their contract. And, ooh, I shouldn't have said his name. Just kidding. Who cares? That guy's a liar. I almost said something else I shouldn't have said, but he's a liar, man. I asked him for an interview, and he said he had nothing to do with Boblo Island, and then I have like 85 screenshots of statements he made during that time. And oh man, this guy just irritates me. But nonetheless, yeah, they sold the island out from underneath him. But Michael and I talked, and he was telling me about all the plans, right? And he had an investment company from New York. I can tell you privately, but I'm not going to say their name on here. But it's a very big firm. It's not Wells Fargo big, but it's big enough to come up with $1 billion big, if that makes sense. And he had secured funding for uh, up to that amount, basically. They said they were willing to give him what he wanted if they could show that it was successful. He planned on building Canada's second casino on the island. He planned on building a tunnel under the river to the island, which would have been 75 to $100 million. He planned on adding a few more rides, building a water park at the other end of the island, making a hotel, getting timeshares over there, building out the marina so that all those boats that were going to Putin Island were just coming to, Putin Bay or whatever, were just coming to there instead. Because, the Detroit River is famous for having some of the most boaters on it. There's like 285,000 seasonal boaters that go up and down the river, during peak season and shit. So you build that, that's a lot of people coming there, and you think marina money and stuff that'll just keep paying over each year. That's making you self-sufficient in and of itself if you think about it for the marina aspect. But he had that planned, and then from there he had a new CEO named for the 94 season, and Remo Mancini, and the park was gonna operate from there. It was gonna go from there, but shit just kind of took a turn.
So, a series of
Michael said the
unfortunate
one thing
events.
he left, or learned from this process, or didn't prepare for, was something happening to him. So anybody out there that's got big investments and plans, plan for what happens to you too. That's something he said he learned.
Damn.
He said he wishes he protected people better and had things lined up so people would have had control of his assets, and that would have never happened.
Oh, I see what he's saying. I see.
Yeah, like he says, make sure you have all of that figured out. Don't think you're invincible, because one day you are, and the next day you have everything taken from you.
Shit's fucked.
Yeah, it's crazy. That park should have never been gone, man. And nowadays it's just sitting there. I want to talk poorly about it, but I cannot. But it's sitting there with 19 unsold homes on the north end that have been there since the 2000s. And he's going ahead and continuing development of 220 other homes on the south end where the amusement park was, even though they can't sell the 19 on the north end. So essentially what's going to happen is I'm going to watch that island get developed for my whole entire life and never be filled.
Hmm. Hmm. So, I seriously can't. I mean, why would they even want to utilize that exactly? Like,
I,
just let it be a historic place for
Real
the
estate
park.
agents that see money signs, man,
Yeah, but like, what money? You have to take a ferry to get.
they got their own private service or ferry service. You live in $1 million home or whatever over there, and you think you're the shit, even though you live in the middle of a
It's gonna be one of those
shit-infested
homes.
river.
One of those homes. Okay.
Yeah, you live in the middle of a shit-infested river that's been polluted by all the factories and stuff for years that probably has fish in there that aren't normal, and that's what you do, you know? You talk about the Gold Coast you live on that you can't even go swim in.
Yeah, Bikini Bottom's probably living in that.
Bro, if you get in the water, the current will suck you into Lake Erie.
Mm.
Like, you literally can't even go out there and swim. I guess there's a beach on the south end, so technically you can. There's an area where you can, but most of the homes and stuff, you can't even have boat docks out there. Like, it's crazy. It's so useless. I don't understand why someone would want it.
Ugh, it's so annoying. You know, we need to become billionaires and out billionaire them and just make it a Boblo 2.0.
I agree. It would cost an astronomical amount, though.
No, that's why we got to out billionaire the billionaires. But
Yeah, I'd have to give Dominic more money up front than he thinks he could make over the years. That would be crazy. I wish, man. I wonder if they'll answer me or do a interview for the documentary. I've been talking to them, but I'm not sure. Oh my god, I just saw the funniest thing. I'm sorry, sidetrack. Could you imagine giving a 12th century is okay, I'm not against peasants, but it says this combo would knock a 12th century peasant out. And it's a cup of ice water with Altoids peppermint in it. Could you imagine going back in time through a time portal and just handing a cup of that to somebody and going back through?
yeah, they think you gave them a spell or a poison for a
Bro,
brief minute.
I couldn't even imagine drinking like a peppermint drink back then. They'd have been like, "What the hell?"
Imagine though, imagine giving them like any Starbucks drink or like specialty drink that is made for people's indulgement.
Frappe from
So I'm
McDonald's,
saying like,
a
what?
Blizzard from Dairy Queen.
But like, what is thy drink?
Dude, it would be. Ugh.
I
Just go
drinketh
back and
thee,
show them a video on
foamy
a cell phone and
substance.
walk away. Just, just
Uh,
like here, check this out, and just leave.
yeah,
Just go through the portal and drop it on the ground and walk out. An iPad playing a movie.
I would literally be pretty bad at that too if I had a time machine. I'm not gonna hold anyone like.
I would do the funniest shit ever if I had one. Like, I would just think of all the unimaginable things that wouldn't hurt people, that if they had it, they could just see it once. I would drive a car through the time portal.
Yeah, I would just rev a car
A fucking
and then
motorcycle or something.
motorcycle it or and then reverse it back in the portal and then that's it. That's all
A
they saw.
jet engine.
Like a fireworks. Like no, like I'll just pull on a
A really,
drone. Like
dude, I know what I'd do. I'd give them a whole thing of, what am I trying to think of here? A music system from a theater or like a concert venue, and then I just play a really loud song like a Waka Flocka song.
oh my god, no! You play the AJ and Big Justice we bring the boom song.
Dude, just anything that you could possibly think of as the loudest thing ever.
I I'm trying to think of something. One more thing. It's like, I mean, in general, like I said, I would be so. I couldn't control myself with a time machine like that. I just know I couldn't.
I would do the most unrealistic things.
Like,
Drop like a light show
I would
in there.
try to see historical events happen without like
Oh,
altering anything. Like,
I would go and view from a safe distance.
right? Like,
Take me to a safe viewing distance from the Battle of Gettysburg, and then I just go sit there and watch and smoke a blunt.
I'm.
I start seeing them march towards me. I'm like, oh shit, that's me. I gotta go.
Yeah, you gotta like quickly press the
I'd show up
button
to
or
like
whatever.
the Thrilla in Manila, the Ali fight and shit. You'd see me in all these like historical photos. I'd go to all the historic events that happened over the years, and you just see me in the background staring at the camera. because I know all the angles that they were shot in because I've seen them before.
Yeah, I would be like, yeah, take me to the moon landing.
Yeah, okay, you won. That's exactly what I'd do. Because then I could
or
just portal back home, and I know I had a way home.
or like something crazy like, oh, fuck. I'm trying to think. Take me to the day Fabio got like hit on a
In the
Paul
face.
chariot. like obviously I can do like obviously people were thinking, oh, like was crazy as shit, like, but no, I'm gonna go shit post and just be like, yeah, like take me to the day that like Walt Disney World opened or Disneyland, where people's heels are like literally like melting through the asphalt because it wasn't done yet and shit. Like,
Bro, I would go back in time, and then I would show people like their leader and how they got assassinated or killed before it happened. Just so everyone was paranoid 24/7.
yeah, you're just ruining society essentially. See, that's too altering. Okay, like you're literally changing. You might not even be alive when you get back because you just changed history so much. They're gonna try so much to alter what that can happen, or make sure it does
Like,
so
tell
much.
Caesar not to go to that meeting.
Like, I'm trying to think something here. Tell like, there's just so much. There's so much.
There's literally so many wild things that could be done at this point.
Just don't give us time machines. Like, I will literally go to
If they're
like.
created, the world would implode, right?
I feel like maybe that would kind of suck. Why is it only showing me West Edmonton? Like,
Wes, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm actually kind of big.
Me too, dude.
I'm here. We're here. We got Scoob on, but honestly, where do you? So you think the demise was really because of those motherfuckers messing with his money?
Pretty much.
And that's, I'm gonna have to get the full scoop because, like I said, he started leapfrogging from it, but now it's to the point where you have talked to multiple different people, gotten multiple different set of footage. Like,
Yeah, thankfully.
this is becoming real. It's becoming an actual thing.
Oh yeah, there's business plans, there's pitch indexes, there's casting calls for certain musicians to do things. There's a lot of things in the works. There's a budget already predetermined that would probably make a lot of people think I'm out of my mind. But yeah, there's things that are in motion, and I have investment meetings and investor pitches to go, and there's a lot of stuff going on here where I might actually do a real film.
No, it's gonna be happening.
It's gonna happen regardless. I mean,
Like, we already got the scoop earlier of I don't even know if that's gonna be a film, but it felt like a film before the other one. It felt like I was spending there enjoying my time and taking in every second of the Top Thrill. So
those are informative documentaries for sure.
yeah,
This will be a film that makes people feel
yeah.
things, and people who didn't go will get a sense of what it was, and people who did go will remember what they remembered it was. They'll
See,
feel it through the videos and the voices. They'll hear things that have been long gone, like the last call for the boats for the night, and things that the sound of the boats going off and shit that's been gone for 30 years. They'll hear it, and it'll strike those chords if they ever heard it before.
it's like, so when's the casting call? Do I need to come and act for you? What's up?
Casting calls for musicians and songs I need done.
I was
I
like,
need I need some people to make songs in the. I'm gonna. All right, so between me and you and this podcast and whoever's listening, I'm working really hard on securing the license rights for the Weezer song "Island in the Sun." And when that happens, you guys will know, because I will not be able to shut the fuck up, and I will not stop making trailer footages with that song playing every time.
Yeah, I have so many thoughts that with making because I want to make some short films in the future potentially. Just
It's
random
hard
fucking
to get
ideas.
licensing, bro. Let me tell you, that's the hardest part. People to say yes.
And that's the thing is like, yeah, and then it's okay. Let me make my own. It's like, oh shit, I gotta make original music. I gotta find someone to make music. I can't just.
Well, I did think about having someone just completely fucking remake that song too and re-record it, and
Mm,
because technically those are done differently than copyright things. Like if you can pull that off, and someone can re-record it in a similar sense or identical, it's okay because it's not their song at that point. Which I might do that because I know a few people in bands.
man, I want to go. Well, I want to be in a band really bad again. To be honest, I miss
Oh,
that doing that shit.
music was fun, man. I worked in music. I worked at a studio and did stuff with that hip hop artists and stuff. But
I literally, we had one. Well, we had a little EP we threw together from years ago, but I would love to do it again. Just because I just know, like, back then it was more teen angst. Now it's like more of a matured scope what I have on music. So it's like,
I would like to just say weird things like '90s alternative songs.
I have a friend who does stuff like that, Tyler Maine. Um, but I hope he's doing well. I haven't been seeing him as much on Instagram, sad, but
Let's say he want to make a Boblo Island song.
you probably could ask him to be honest. Uh,
So he'll send you like 8 songs tomorrow.
like, I mean, there were times when I would be going on my story and I would just see like, okay, his SoundCloud, like he's just teasing his SoundCloud and showing like he had like 4 or 5 songs just made. Like, yeah, I just made an EP basically, just and it's not like they're bad music. It's like very experimental though. But I'm pretty sure if you tell him what you want, it's like he got you.
No shit.
I need to see what he's up to, man. I haven't seen him in a bit, but Boblo, what could have been?
Exactly, man. I like with all those expansions he planned, that would have been crazy. Like that could have competed with Cedar Point. Man,
Let's
I
see from.
I can't wait to show everybody this and get everybody involved in it. It should be a good time.
Oh, I'm excited for it because, like I said, it's a long time coming. The
Long time coming and
culmination.
bigger than I thought it would get to. Seeing the excitement from people is weird. It just doesn't feel real sometimes. I'm sitting over here going, wow, all these people want to talk to me about this now.
You know, seriously, go ahead and give yourselves a look at Boblo, a little precursor for it, because you're gonna learn a lot about it when it's finally all come and put together.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be pretty much the history of the whole island. Verified, top to bottom.
Now,
Historian fact checked.
is there anything else you also, any other history in parks, uh, any park or ride that intrigues you? I'm pretty sure not as much as Pablo, right? But
I want to do stuff on like Geauga Lake and stuff in Ohio too. Those ones are fun, man. They definitely intrigue me quite a bit. I think the haunting things intrigue me more. Like hearing haunted stories about parks, that kind of makes me really excited to hear stuff like that.
yeah, and I'm like, I was honestly going to say I was one of the things I was looking at before was trying to find some of those because I know you're into the spooky stuff. So,
Yeah, there's not a whole ton. There is though, like Disney Anaheim and Six Flags Fiesta Texas, and there's Great Adventure has some deaths there. I didn't do a video on that because those are real life deaths, not like things attributed to certain things. So that was like a tragedy, a fire in the ride. So I'm not going to talk about stuff like that. But there's Geauga Lake, Boblo Island is supposedly haunted. Um, I did a lot of videos for haunted things. I got a whole thing coming like September through October every Thursday. because it works out. Halloween's on a Thursday, so every Thursday from September through then I'm doing a haunted video. Like Coney Island, we got a video on that. Conneaut Lake, Knobles. There's a good amount of stuff we've done here for haunted parks. So every week it'll be like a new episode.
So, man, so what, you got any of those you want to talk about now?
All of them will be fun, man. Ghost stories are fun in general. You want to talk about haunted stuff?
Bro, I need to find the thing. Okay, hold up. Haunted. But I don't have any right now, but do you have any?
Which one do you want to talk about?
Just give me any.
I guess Coney Island, because that's the one that's coolest, because it's in a creepy, like, it just feels eerie there, I guess, you know?
So, which Coney Island exactly?
New York, yeah.
Okay.
Whole stretch. The old parks, everything. Like, the whole, Coney Island there is haunted, supposedly. Maritime haunts as well. Ghost ship stuff. Pretty cool, man. Honestly, I love the haunted things. I can't wait to talk about those more.
There's actually one that could be close to you. I don't know how close, but do you know
Yep.
Chippewa Lake Park?
Yep. We debated that one for an episode. It might be a half episode. Because we might do some smaller episodes on like Mondays, just like shorter. Because some of them you can't really make 10, 15-minute episodes about. So we're getting excited though. Coney
Oh.
Island, I got like 12 minutes. Six Flags New Orleans. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. New Orleans. We got video about that.
Yeah, that one, I mean, yeah, I mean, that was a given. Six New Orleans or Geauga Lake.
Well, the New Orleans one's fun because you don't see a lot of haunted videos about it, though, talking about it. You see people in the park walking around it, but there's not a ton of, like, coaster enthusiast content related to the haunting of it, which
Yeah.
is fun for me because I get to kind of be a first for the hauntings there. I mean, there's definitely some videos on it, though. It's not like I learned about it without watching somebody else's video, but hopefully these take off and do well, man. Knobles is fun. Knobles actually told me they'd work with me if I hit a certain amount of subscribers.
Yeah, actually, the one in Ohio I was talking about, Chippewa. I don't even know if that's how you say it. But
Chippewa.
Chippewa Lake. Yes.
I don't really know
Apparently,
that. There's like so many Native American names in Michigan too that like Ypsilanti throws a lot of people off. It's spelled YP, like Ypsilanti. Like no one knows how to say it. Tequinder, Tecumseh. They're all spelled fucking weird, and people are like, "Oh yeah, Wyandotte." Like Detroit itself is Detroit, it's French or some shit. Like
yeah, they're saying that visitors reported apparitions in the park.
I wish we could go to it and like investigate it.
Uh, well, I don't know how far it is from you, but it's an O.
Is it still around?
It's Medina County is all I know. But
Chippewa Lake Park. It says it's. Let's see. It's 2.5 hours from me. Let's see how many miles that is.
yeah,
It's
that's not
149 miles.
not terrible.
No, not terrible at all.
You can get your own footage.
Let's see what it looks like now. Because there's like. I don't even see the park over here where it's saying it is.
Oh, Iron Gwazi. So yeah, we're looking at roller coaster POVs in the back, so I was like, fuck it. But,
People are like, what the hell?
yeah, Iron Gwazi's abandoned. Ah, man.
I'm so confused. I can't find this park. The address doesn't take you to the park. It
That is
takes you to
true.
like some
Cause no,
post office.
yeah, it's probably no address to it anymore.
Right, which makes it hard to find because where the fuck is it?
But
I'm looking through all these woods looking for a freaking source of anything and I don't see it.
yeah, I would love to see if there's more stuff about that. I want to find more haunted situations of that sort, but
Yeah, I need to go there. It seems close. I just need to find a freaking address for it or something.
and they say the fairy tale amusement park is also potentially haunted. It's in, I think, Oregon or Washington. Something.
Oregon or wherever? Yeah, I've heard about that one. That one sounds crazy, dude. That one sounds really
What's
crazy.
crazy about this one though? I'm trying to look at it right now. Is it just creepy looking that people think it's haunted, or is it actually haunted? Apparently, they use it in Ghost Adventures, but
Yeah, I saw that on Ghost Adventures.
do you trust stuff like that?
Zach, it depends because some people are actually doing it because they want to find stuff. Some people glorify it a bit. I don't know how I feel about him per se, but
Mm,
I don't think he's lying all the time. I think they find stuff, but I think he has a really good like journalistic way of explaining things to make it sound really fucking exaggerated. So that kind of hurts their credibility.
yeah, I just think a lot of the mass. As soon as you try to like market it that way, or mass media encrypted, these. To me, I just think I lose all sort. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of hard to trust that you're not just gonna do it for views or try to make something happen. Say you heard something for the edit.
Right. Okay, so I did find the park. 'Cause that's 100% the wheel. And this is the train. Okay, so where's the coaster? I thought there was a coaster in here somewhere. It's kind of crazy because you can just like pull right up and walk in there.
Wow.
It looks like.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to not look at stuff because the reason why I saw a article quoting, um, essentially the Ghosts like Adventures or whatever. It was like a show. I was like, give it to me straight up. Let me see your research. But no, in general, any plans? He said, you said, what are your plans for parks coming up?
Hopefully, I'll be at Cedar Point the 23rd through 25th, man. I'm hoping to get there and see some people, hopefully.
Listen, if you want to talk to him more about Boblo, or see him there, definitely try to meet up.
Yeah, you guys can definitely get some rides on Blue Streak with me since it's the best coaster in the park.
I don't know if we talked about it on cast. We might have, but just Blue Streak. At least the last rides I got on this past trip was awesome, and
That thing is amazing. That ride stands the test of time.
look, this might be one of the only ship posts of this true ship posts of this episode, but hey, honestly, I enjoyed. That might be better than all the B&Ms in that park.
Dude, you ain't lying. Though I do love Valraven and Gatekeeper, don't get me wrong. I know. I just said I liked a dive coaster, but you always lose your stomach. It's like a drop tower.
Yeah, it is true.
So that's why I like it.
Because for me, because I had Griffin, and so getting on Valkyrie, I'm like,
Meh.
because I'm like the vest restraints, bruh, the vests. But no, it's still
Yeah,
good.
they're not the greatest.
Like I literally ride those for the drop. Like it's the really no other reason. Have you done a mountain coaster yet? I know it's random, but we're looking at a mountain coaster now on
I have not, but I want to really bad. My girlfriend said she'd do one of those with me too, and she said she'd ride Magnum with me. So,
Magnum. Oh,
yup.
jeez.
She said she liked it when she was younger.
Mm. Well, that works out then. Hopefully, it still holds up in her eyes.
Bro,
That's
if
funny.
she loves it, I'll be happy as hell.
Magnum for me, uh, it held up. It definitely held
It's the greatest ride ever, other than Blue Streak.
up. Otherwise, where can they find you, Scoob, to keep updated with everything?
Oh, they can find me on YouTube at GhosterCoasters or on Twitter at Scoobycoasters because, I be chilling on there. There's a Facebook group page, too, about the Boblo Island doc if you want to go find it, but I don't think a lot of people use Facebook, and don't add me on there, thank you.
Uh, I'm not gonna lie. This looks like a clone of Goats on a Coaster, or Goats on a Roof. Sorry, but
That thing looks awesome. Dude, we're just sitting here watching point of views, talking to each other. People are probably like, what the hell?
yeah, no, I feel it will because it's like we do coastal here a lot, but like this is how I learned a lot about the coasters in general for coastal and how we kill it every time we do it on the cast. Oh, we should do coastal. I'm just kidding. I can't do no coastal right now.
He
No,
said,
I can
I'm
do
too
coastal.
tired. I'm done.
No, I that's how I do coastal the best. Is when I'm fucking literally like I'm locked in right now. It's like the weed's weeding.
He said, the weed has been weeded.
You got on candy,
Wow.
right? When you went to
You're
Hershey.
on, wait, what?
Said you got on candy when you went to Hershey.
Yeah. I love that ride.
Yeah, I was like, that seems like your type of ride.
It was okay, man. It wasn't the greatest B&M hyper, but it was good.
Yeah, for me, I call it half a B&M hyper, but it's a
I
B&M
liked the
hyper.
short little trains on them. I thought they were whippier. That
Uh,
little 7-row train they got.
mm-hmm. I just hate how they stack me every time. It's really the only thing that's stupid about the ride, but
Yeah, it's full partially Hershey Park's fucking ops, how they make the ride clear out before they open the gates and do shit slower than shit.
yeah. And then there's no mid course, but because of that, um, I mean, you get stuck in the third block. Because
Yep.
the block basically is that the mid course is essentially at the end of the ride, or
Which
after the
sucks,
turnaround
yeah.
thing.
Because you gotta wait till it gets all the way through. But I definitely liked the course and layout. It was fun.
But yeah, go ahead, uh, and find him in Ohio, or find him getting some footage for these
These
spooky.
top little 2 rides and stuff.
I'm saying because I guess we'll just end off with that because like it's definitely not opening this season.
Yeah, I think me and you can agree on that.
But at least Six Flags can. I mean, to be fair, they've never had any sort of grace when it comes to this stuff. They've always been like, yeah, we're late in construction, and all right, we'll open it last few days of the year. And it's like, guys, you do realize kids are back to school like now, right? Like next week for a lot of them, this week for a good amount of them. Yeah, I just
I go back to school here after that weekend, the 23rd through 25th. I go back on the 26th, and I'm not looking forward to it, buddy.
I go back to 20. Well, yeah, I start classes for myself again 26 too. So
No, I feel that, bro.
yeah, but
I'm grateful you had me on tonight. I appreciate that.
bro, I'm grateful you came on because it's been a long time coming. I know. I mean,
Anytime you want, hit me up, bro. I'll be on.
yeah. I mean, shit. I was saying we should do if you've down come back. It sounds like the move because I would
Yeah,
love
I
to
definitely will.
hear some deep dives of random stories you got want to talk about with these spooky stuff. That literally doesn't even have to be coasters. What I'm saying, like, just go ahead and on here and
Dude, yeah, let's all get on here and have another good combo.
yeah, man.
I love chilling and talking with you, man. We always have good talks, even on Twitter and those spaces and whatnot, or X, whatever you call it nowadays. But
X. Yeah, I haven't said that in a while, but X. Because that's how Elon Musk wants you to think it's cool and edgy. But it really
that dude
just
is so
ruined his brand.
strange.
He's he's a man.
He's out there, huh?
I'm just gonna say he's a man.
He's a
Um,
man with a mission.
I'm not sure if that mission's. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and follow us on Twitter and X at the High Rollers C. Actually, the first time I said that first instead of Instagram, but at High Rollers C and me at West Tower C, and you can follow Scoob at Scoobycoasters.
Yup, Scooby Coasters.
It's kind of hard to mess that up. Scooby and Coasters. So, like.
Pretty much, with no and.
And, I mean, on the Instagram side, you can follow us at the High Rollers DMV and me at West Tower Coasters. But, for you, or do you want to. You've been using
don't
Instagram.
really use my Instagram. Yeah, I barely use it. I think it's like GhosterCoasters YT or something, but I mean, maybe you'll find me.
I think it's just GhosterCoasters, to be honest. But
might be, yeah, GhosterCoasters. Check it out.
But yeah, that's just to keep it more updated if you want to.
Yeah, definitely.
But he's most so active on the Twitter side, so.
Oh yeah, you guys will find me there.
But everyone, take care. Have a good one. You never know who you meet in this little hobby, man.
This hobby is amazing. Thank you, man, so much. I had a great night.
Man. We're about to get higher. But to end this off here, to rest my voice here, peace out, and catch y'all on the next one.